All right, so now we are going to talk about what I think is the single most important part of neutralizing the aggression of our opponents. And that is getting out of the way of balls that are going out. Super important skill, and ultimately a skill that I'm not that good at. But that's why I'm probably good at teaching it, because I had to actually learn it from scratch. So, wait a second. Are you subscribed to Selkirk TV? If not, make sure to do it, because the best pickleball podcast, the James Ignatowich Show, is on there. And there's some other podcasts on there. They've got highlights. They've got teaching videos just like this. They've got everything you need on Selkirk TV. And make sure to subscribe to it. Anyway, if the ball is low, and this is the first key to knowing when to get out of the way of speed-ups, if the ball is low and you see them take a big swing, they really can't keep a hard shot in, because if it's from down here and they hit it hard, that one has to go out. So I actually don't really believe as much in the shoulder high, let it fly. People will say, oh, if it goes above your shoulder and it's fast, it's going out for sure. I think that can kind of confuse people. Everybody's shoulders are different heights. Like my shoulder's a lot higher than Hayden Patriquin's shoulder, so that's probably a different situation for us. I would say instead, if you see somebody taking a big swing from very low and their legs are engaged in it, that ball is probably going out. So I actually like to watch the legs a lot, and I like to watch the hips. If you see somebody take a swing from here and their legs are starting to really get into it and they're starting to turn their hips into it, there's a really good chance that's going out. It's not always going to go out, but that's a very good indicator to tell you that they're going to try to put a lot of pace on this ball. Because when I speed the ball up and I'm trying to keep it in, a lot of it's just coming from my wrist. I'm not really engaging my legs as much. What really separates it, if I'm going for the shot where I am trying to hit the person, which is a fine shot to hit, then you use your legs more. You really do that and you really turn your hips. So that's when I want to put some more pace on it, and that's a good indicator to know that the ball is going out. Another way to know if the ball is going out is if somebody's taking the ball out of the air and they reach a little too far forward. And that's more of a common problem at the 4-0 level and below. I'll see a lot of players, they'll be reaching in and then they lean forward like this and they do this. Those balls don't tend to go in or do anything good. So if you see somebody really overextend and start to bend more this way instead of this way out of the air, that ball's probably going out, and if it goes in, I think you'll be in a good spot anyway. That's another thing. And then another thing that you might notice, if somebody takes a step in to a drive from the transition zone and that ball is low, that ball goes out at a very, very high rate. So I like to teach that the deeper that the return is, the more likely you should be to drive, and then the shorter the return is, the more likely you should be to drop. So if somebody has a short return like this, and then you see them stepping into it, ready to crush a drive, those shots go out at a very high rate, and getting out of the way of those balls is a lot more important nowadays with how powerful these paddles are. There are a ton of shots that are going out. So generally, if somebody takes a big swing from down here, there's a good chance the ball's going out. And another thing that I think would help you is when you're looking to get out of the way of a ball, if somebody's got their legs engaged into it and you're kind of suspicious that they're going to try to hit you with the ball, it is totally okay to take a couple steps off the line. I mean, if you watch the best guys at leaving the ball, not me, but other guys that are very good at getting out of the way, if I'm about to pull the trigger at them and it looks like I'm going to crush the ball, you'll see them kind of back off. They don't just stand here and go like this. You can take a step off the line. I think if you take a couple steps back, you give yourself a little extra time. And why wouldn't you if you're not actually intending on hitting a counter anyway? You're just trying to get out of the way of the ball.